Hey, Bill. All right, we've got Greg from Vegas. Andrew, how you doing? You never know about these endings. Hey, hope everybody's doing great. Had a wonderful Christmas, all that. I know we did. We had a great time. You know, our Christmases used to be really insane. We have a big family, and this time it wasn't quite as big. There was only about 30 people there instead of the 50, but everybody used to open all their presents all at once. It was crazy, you know. When the kids were little, they'd get up in the morning, they'd all grab their presents and they'd all open them all at once. And it's like Christmas is over in 5 minutes. And I said, you know what? We're not going to do that anymore. You got to go around the room. You got to wait and see what everybody gets. And that kind of stretched it out, made it more of a 4-hour event instead of 5 minutes. So David Bronson. Isn't that a famous actor, David Bronson? All right. Kim, what's happening? You're from Canada. I didn't realize. Lucas, Jim, Philgett, Jim from Florida. I heard you had the hot or the coldest Florida in a long, long time. And I have a good friend named Jerry and Sue, and they want us to come down and visit them. And they live over in Corscold where we used to live, and they're waiting to go to Florida when it warms up. And so when that happens, we want to get out there too. Okay, so Tony is out there. So Tony is working through the jazz guitar improv course and doing quite well. Tom Johnson, Rick Moore, really, Rick Moore. Hi, Rick. You still playing your quilter? You got my albums and you like them. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, New Year's is a wacky time, isn't it? Because, if you're in a band, you're like kind of responsible for the place to have a good time, right? So, it can be a high pressure time, even more than it is fun, So But it's also can be quite fun. Back in the old days when you used to be able to play, when you played in a nightclub or a casino or whatever. Let me adjust this a little bit. How was the volume and everything? Okay. Thanks for the free Christmas songs. You're quite welcome. Oh, different guy, but thanks. Okay, Rick Moore, different guy. Okay. It's not Rick Moore that I'm related to indirectly, is it? Ralphie Valadares from the Tahunga Social Club, making his own bathtub wine. What a sick puppy. Lonesome Lenny, it's happening. And Kirby, you guys are all here. That's really sweet, man. Thank you for showing up. I tell you what, we got a special guest tonight, and I'm going to be calling him on the phone because I want to tell the story. Oh, going back to playing New Year's Eve, right? So I got to play one of the best New Year's Eve things I think you could ever play in your life. And it was Atlantic City in a ballroom for the high rollers with the Dick Clark's good old rock and roll show. Now, I've been trying to find a video on that, and I cannot find it. And I'm to the point where it's like I don't even want to talk about it too much because I think people think I'm making it up. Because if I look like, Dick Clark 1983, I can see the things, but in 81, I can see what happened, but not 82. And it's kind of weird. But tonight, I have an old friend that I'm going to call on my phone, and he was Mike Hart. Was the bass player at the gig, and so we're going to talk about it. It was one of the funniest things you'd ever want to see, but he is back from Hong Kong. He lives in Hong Kong, and he's coming. He came home to see his mother, who's 92, who, by the way, used to babysit our kids every once in a while. By the way, this is coffee. Coffee first, wine second. I need something to pep me up and then something to cool me down, in the words of my mother. Okay, guitar sounds good. Good. Thank you, Ralph. James Powell. Bought your little darling a lesson, and it was money well worth spent. Thank you.
Glad you found me helpful. Let me know if there's anything I can do.
Go away. Wait a minute. Let's see. Let me try to find Mike because it's a funny story, the Dick Clark thing. Okay, where how do I get you, Mike? What? No, okay, hold on here. God darn it. What does it say? I have no. Of course, nothing goes as planned. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm trying to call him on this newfangled thing called the Facebook. And I just talked to him. What the hell? Let's try it again. Okay, but anyway, I'm going to keep talking about it because it's funny. So we got a call. Oh, here it comes. Can you guys see that?
Hey, Rich.
Hey, Mike, you're there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here and I hear you.
Okay, well,
I hear you.
Where's your face, Mike? Your face went away.
Right here. I'm just putting myself together so I can come outside and talk to you like I was before.
Okay.
You about ready to hit it, huh?
Yeah, I'm talking to him right now. We're doing it right now. So I'm going to set it up. Mike and I were with the Dick Clark Rock and Roll Show, and we got it was going to be live from Atlantic City with Chuck Berry, and it was in a ballroom that I remember, Mike. That was for the high rollers of Caesar's Palace, and it was all
absolutely.
Yeah. It was all
correct.
Was all decked out in. Everybody see Mike there? There's what he looks like.
Yeah.
Mike.
Hey there.
So I remember that. They had the cranes, the camera cranes, and all that stuff. You remember that? All that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And
Yeah, it was quite a production. Quite a production. It was huge production.
right. And Larry Klein, Dick Clark's producer, or whatever he is. What is he, anyways? His manager, or?
Oh well, I guess he was the right hand man. He was the producer of the broadcast and the director, and handled just everything for Dick Clark that Dick didn't want to do. He was like the number 2 guy in charge, and we're going to be the number 2 guy in charge for the whole production company, which was a huge operation.
Yeah.
He and I are such. He lives on an island out in the Caribbean somewhere now.
Oh, does he really? Oh, that's cool. Whoops.
Yeah, it's called Turks and Caicos or something like this little island. He lives out there. He's been living out there for about 8-10 years or so.
Okay, so yeah. Do you remember I don't remember us doing any kind of sound check. We must have done a sound check, but do you remember it?
Actually, I do not.
I don't either.
Wait. Yeah, I really don't. I really don't. I mean,
I got the vibe Chuck Berry doesn't do sound checks.
Well, I did another one more TV show subsequent to the one that we did together quite a few years later. It came up to about 85, and I don't remember Chuck doing a sound check on that one either.
No.
To be honest with you.
No rehearsal, no sound check. As John Goins used to say, if you have to rehearse, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah, John Goins, by the way, for the viewing public, was the drummer and band leader for what was called the Brother John Band, which was the group that we traveled with, and backed up not only Chuck Berry but a lot of other artists of that era, Bo Diddley, the Shirelles, the Coasters, and many, many others. Little Anthony and the Imperials. Little Anthony, as I recall, on the date that we were talking about this big New Year's thing, which, by the way, was about 40 years ago, we were doing the casino show nightly. I think it was about a 10-day or a 2-week stint. Wasn't that right, Rich? We were there for quite a while.
Right.
And
yeah.
Doing was it 2 shows a night or 1 show a night? I can't remember.
Well, I think Reno was 2 shows. Well, no, I don't remember either.
I can't remember. It's been a minute, but it was a real turning point, and I think in both of our lives, because I think we both kind of realized at that point that we were kind of bona fide at that point, being on national TV, with an artist of that stature. But yeah, the normal lineup on that show, as I recall, was Little Anthony, the Shirelles, and the Coasters, and then Chuck's thing was a special show for the High Rollers. It was part of the New Year's Rockin'.
And don't forget Freddie Cannon was on that, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Freddie Cannon was on all
Freddie
of
Boom
those shows.
Boom. Yeah. So
last I heard, Freddie is still with us. He's not really performing anymore. He's enjoying a retirement and doing fine from what I hear. I'm not in touch with him directly. But Larry Klein told me that he's doing fine.
Yeah, he lives in Santa Barbara, is what I've heard. It's just right down the road. So here's what I remember about this show, man. So we're up there on stage, and Chuck and Larry Klein comes up and says, "Hey, we got about 15 minutes." And by the way, remember the crowd was they're pumped. They're pumped it like crazy, and it's almost midnight.
Yeah.
And
and
the High Rollers, they got nothing but money, and so they Larry Klein says, "Hey, play a couple tunes, and then in about 15 minutes, we're going to go live, and I want you to do Roll Over Beethoven." So Chuck says, "Okay," and then he goes, "Whoops!" He does the intro and plays Roll Over Beethoven, and it's and it's smoking, and we're having a blast. And then he gets done, and he puts down his guitar, and the crowd's going nuts. And then Larry Klein says, no, Chuck, we got about 7-8 minutes, 5 minutes. Play another song. and then we're going to go live. I want you to play Roll Over Beethoven. I said, okay. And he plays, and he plays Roll Over Beethoven. But this time, it's even more pumped. And and the crowd is really going nuts and everything. And I remember a guy gets up and he's got a bunch of money and he's throwing it on Chuck Berry's head or something. It was, you remember that? And then we get done, and this was a big boom. He puts down his guitar and he flies off the stage and goes running across the ballroom. And Larry Klein comes up and he says, "Where's Chuck?" I said, he's out the door. He's going out that door. And Larry Klein runs after him and it brings him back. And what I remember, because I only saw a recording of it one time afterwards, is it shows an empty bandstand of Chuck missing. And then Chuck jumps up, grabs his guitar. We do Roll Over Beethoven for the third and final 3 times. And this time it was even better. It was even better this time.
Yeah, we got the two figured out by then. We got it real dialed in, that's for sure. Oh man, what good times, man! Really good times. Good times. That was a hell of a group.
Yeah,
It was really.
It was. Who
pure energy.
Who was playing keyboard? Was there a keyboard player?
There was that. Well, actually, there was a young man named Doug Roll that was playing with us that night, and Doug was out of Gary U.S. Bond's band.
Oh,
and he had joined us for a series of those gigs. That was after James Ingram had departed. James Ingram, as a little factoid, was the piano and organ guy for us at the beginning. And then his rocket took right off, like within a matter of months after Rich and I encountering him. And Quincy Jones got a hold of him, and he went into the superstar stratospheric orbit, never to return. So that's showbiz. I mean, so off he went. So Doug Roll played, and also you might recall that Steve Welsh, who was Little Anthony's pianist, director, he jumped up on stage with us.
Yeah.
So he's on the broadcast as well. Steve, I stayed in touch with over the years. Steve wound up being a musical director for Barry Manilow for quite a few years. I don't know what he's doing now, but he
interesting.
Way up the ladder. Yeah. And we had this wonderful tenor player, the really mad character named Doug Richardson, who was
Dougie.
Kind of a hard. Dougie Richardson. He was kind of a hard bop Pharoah Sanders, kind of, hard bop guy that could play rock and roll, and he had a great big sound and a personality to match. And he was only about 5'4" tall, but he
had a big sound out of that horn, man. He had a big sound.
Big sound and a big personality.
Yeah, he
was
a funny guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was good times.
It was a band full of characters. I mean, the band leader was quite a character too. I mean, and I mean that with all love and respect and affection. I mean, he was he was just really kind of like a Superfly sort of character, a little larger than life. I mean, he had a lot of great energy and
New Orleans guy,
a lot of swagger. Huh?
He was a New Orleans guy.
He was a New Orleans guy, and he had that kind of New Orleans swagger about him, and had a great feel. I mean, technically, not a technically correct drummer by any stretch of the imagination, but he had that unique ability to play in the corners, in that kind of that real fine line between like a straight eighth and a swing eighth, that kind of really makes the rock roll.
Yeah.
And he had that thing going on, and I think that was his strongest suit as a drummer. His really strongest suit of all was being just a real good organizer and a real good, kind of an inspirational sort of character. I mean, you wanted to go where he went because he seemed like he knew the way.
I got a John Goines quote. He used to say, we always say, hey, John, when, where are we going to play? What's next? And he'd mention these things. And so we'd come back to ask him again, hey, what's going on? He says, look if I tell you the moon's made out of cheese, bring your crackers.
That's right. Right. Yeah, he was quite. He was like, trust me, the gigs are coming.
Yeah,
whether they came or not. I mean, he was really good at keeping that dynamic in play. So hey, God bless him, and he's been gone a few years. He's in the rock band in the sky right now with the rest of them. But he was a friend, and he was a friend to all. So God bless him.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mikey, Mike lives in Hong Kong. How you been there? How long you been there now?
I've been living in Hong Kong, close to 14 years now, Rich. That was after quite a few years traveling around the Mideast and in Asia, doing like hotel kind of jazz lounge kind of gigs with really smaller groups, like backing up singers doing standard Great American Songbook type stuff with piano players.
Right.
And most of the time it was duo behind a singer. Sometimes we'd add drummers depending on the layout and the budget and stuff.
Right.
But that was a real nice experience for me. It got me out of America and kind of showed me another part of the world and another part of the industry, because prior to that, I mean, I was mostly an electric bass specialist, and I started making these trips to Asia after just a few short years of serious study of the double bass. Studying the right way, the right fingerings with the classical, the bow and all that stuff, and just when you learn to play the double bass, you have to learn to play it. I mean, if you want to be effective, you have to, whether you play classical music or not, you have to at least spend some time with the semanal books and stuff like that, because it gets you the right fingerings and it enables you to really play the thing. So I went through a bit of that, and then went right to work and was able to immerse myself in a whole bunch of upright playing that carried over into a move to Hong Kong, where I'd been doing very, 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 very well until the COVID.
And you met a girl there, and you have a family, right?
Yes, I have a family. I met a lovely woman. We've been married 12 years now.
That's nice,
and it's a beautiful thing.
And you have your son here, right? You have a son here.
Yeah, I have an adult son here. He's 34, and he's doing fine.
Good.
He's in the healthcare industry. He's a certified nursing assistant. He does caregiving for handicapped patients.
Well, when you get a little older, you're going to have to fly him in.
Yeah, really, or settle back here. Who knows,
Well, look at Mike.
I'm not ready for the adult diapers yet. Still got a few good years to swing. Hey, and speaking of swing, let me tell anybody that's listening, and particularly anybody that studies with Rich. Rich teaches the right way.
Oh, thanks.
He's always taught the right way. He's always taught the right way. It's music first. There's no gimmicks. It's no, it's no shortcuts. you know, he teaches you the guitar, teaches you to play the guitar, and you can take it anywhere you want. But he's really got his lesson thing after many years of successful teaching, and having studied with, you know, the Ted Greens and Joe Passes and, you know, other luminaries. You know, Rich knows what's going on, so you can't go wrong sticking with Rich. I'll tell you, man, it's like there's stuff that he showed me. No, for real, there's stuff that showed me that transferred over to bass. I mean, it was like the beginnings of my, you know, understanding of bebop, you know, and it's stuff that sticks with me, you know.
Yeah.
Like the licks I picked up 40, 50 years ago with Rich are still licks that are in my repertoire to this very day.
Me too. A good lick never dies.
That's right.
You just build on it.
You only need a couple, 2 or 3.
2, 3 licks, you're done, man. Hey, so Mike played bass on my first book that had the record in it, blues and rock guitar solos, and also on the country book too. So we go way back. We played with Donnie Brooks. I think we first started playing with Donnie Brooks. Remember him?
Donnie Brooks, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
At the Orlando's restaurant.
That's right. Yeah, crazy. Well, look at Mike. Thank you, man. And I'm going to call you a little later on tonight. We'll catch up a little more.
I'll look forward to that. And you know, guys, you know, students, stick with Rich, man. He will never show you the wrong way to play, only the right way to play.
Thanks, Mike. I'll talk to you later.
All right, okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Okay. So you heard it, you guys. Anyway, thank you for having Mike there. That was such a fun time that we did. Okay, now I had my wine, my coffee. It's time for the wine now. So, okay, let's see. Wait a minute. Gary from St. John's. Okay, interesting reminiscing about old times. Yeah. Hi, Debbie. She remembers Donnie Brooks. Got a hammer, nail, and a hunk of wood. I'll build a dollhouse. Crazy how you know. By the way, Donnie Brooks. I remember Donnie said to me, "Hey, you know, you really remind me of this guitar player. Man, he was really good, and he played with me for a while. Do you know this guy? His name's Larry Carlton. You remind me of him." And I don't think he realized that Larry was well on his way up. You know, that was a long time ago. Yeah. But anyway, Debbie, George of the Jungle. That's right. And he did look out for George. Let's see, George Jungle and some other one too. He had a couple cartoon things and Mission Bells. Okay, so what's the deal, man? We've got a couple of songs we got to play because, as you know, it is New Year's Eve. And I played this song many different ways. And I'll tell you what, it's just a fun tune if you really get into the tune, man. Can you see that okay? I want to make sure you can see that good. Okay. By the way, that is available at 99-cent guitar lessons. $4.99. So yeah, the end of the year are the Go Play Music site, which is the subscription site, is going away, and we're trying to get things together for another subscription site. However, you can always go to the 99-cent guitar lessons and download stuff. Absolutely. Lots of stuff. So let's start on our jazz journey, shall we? Can I get a big hell yeah out of you? Do I have any questions here? Wait a minute. Let me take a quick look. Oh, Chicken something. Super Chicken. Donnie Brooks sang the theme song for Super Chicken. Interesting. It's funny. All those old guys, they all knew each other, because they would be on these tours, and the tours would intermix. It's like cogs of gears of a watch, things intermix. Okay, when playing church music as a guitarist, I want to add horn licks. You did a video using the blues scale. Can it be used for major key church songs? Maybe. I don't know about that. By the way, I did play a couple of church services on Christmas Eve, and it was kind of fun. I forgot what it was like to do that. Having a monitor system and playing, and you can't hear anything on stage, and anyway. Okay, you know what we're going to do today is we are going to do melodic turnarounds. In other words, adding a melodic line within a turnaround. So what is a turnaround? It's 1-6-2-5, and it kind of reaffirms the tonal center of whatever is happening. And so in the key of G, it would be G, E minor, A minor, just the two chords, and then D7. Now, what I'm talking about is adding melodic content to those chords. So you might have a melodic line going through those chords. So, for instance, you might have something like this. Here's a G major 9, major 7. Sometimes I put the third in, most of the time I don't, okay, but my top melody is here. The next chord is going to be E minor or E dominant, and we're going to have a melody that goes. So now it's E7 sharp 9, flat 9. So, okay, then A minor, and we're going to do the same thing for D. And back to G. So on a turnaround, so always adding melodic content to your chords will set you apart instead of going heart and soul, you are the one for me. You know what I'm saying? Please take my name. My name is Aadya. Wow. Really? Okay. I got your name. So now if I take that same concept, whenever you learn something, you want to try to play it in as many places as you can. Also, you want to learn maybe an octave higher. So you do something like this. Now, let's say I want to carry that down. What if I went? Now I'm. It just goes on and on and on. So, melodic line around your chord changes. Ta-da! Okay, are you guys out there? Why is this recommended to me? I don't even own a guitar. I don't know. I don't know. So we have 70 people viewing right now. 71. I hope you stick around. Always get a glass of wine. The show gets better with a glass of wine. I tell you how nice it was to see Mike. I haven't seen him in 20 years. I don't know. As a matter of fact, I remember the last time I saw him. Actually, I was at a guitar show, and I should have told him, mention this. We're at a guitar show, and a friend of mine said, Debbie, it was Wayne, called me and said, hey, Mike is playing down in Santa Monica, and the show was in Santa Monica. And I said, oh, really? He came back home, and he's got playing down here. So, okay, so I went over to see him play. So he's playing with a piano trio, piano, upright bass, mic, and drums. And so the guy is very prim and proper, and suit and tie, the pianist. They're all wearing suit and ties, and the pianist stands up next to his piano and says, for our next song, we want to play a composition by John Coltrane called, I don't know, whatever. I don't know, Okay, so they do it. I don't know what the song was played. For the next competition, or not competition, for our next song, we want to play a composition by Johnny Mercer, and this is Misty. They play Misty. So he's very prim and proper. So they're playing something really up tempo, and then the bass player Mike is playing along, and now it becomes his solo, and his bass amp and everything is behind him. Obviously, all of a sudden, it starts smoking. I can see his amp is smoking, and starting to really smoke and starting to distort and stuff. And the piano player stands up next to his piano and says, ladies and gentlemen, please don't be alarmed, but the bass player's amp is on fire. And Mike's like, what? And he grabbed it, and it's hot as can be, and so he had to get some towels or something to get it out of there. And it's like the transformer blew up, which, by the way, I've had that happen to me. Okay, so that was funny, wasn't it? Let's see. Those melodic lines are usually chromatic, like walking bass lines. Yeah. Okay. Autumn in New York. I don't have that. Have you been working on some solo transcriptions? Yes, I have. Hey, Rich, my first time on, going to try to turn around on, try that turn around on Darnett Dream. Good idea. Okay, you learned it in How High the Moon lesson. Okay, Ralphie Valadera is working on solo transcript. Oh, okay. Oh, this is a good question. When accompanying a singer, is using chords on the top, middle, or bottom strings preferable? And that is a very good question. So if you think about it, and I think it's Segovia that has this little thing on YouTube I saw where he's talking about the guitar and he says, here's the violins. And then here's the violas. And then here's the cellos. So he's right about that. So if you're accompanying a singer, why not use and divide things up? So let's say a song like Misty. All right, so look at me. I'm as helpless up a tree. Here, this is all violins. Now we brought the cellos in. Are you hearing it? So breaking it up like that is a fantastic way to accompany somebody as opposed to sus kitten up a tree. You know what I'm saying? So you want your melody, think of it as strings, violas, cellos. I thought that was good of Segovia. Okay. Smoking bass player, absolutely. And he is, by the way. Do you always use the bass root to move through the progression? No, not at all. But maybe during a demonstration, yes. But actually, if you're playing with a bass player, why do you have to play the bass note? As the late, great Barry Swag would say, let the bass player play the letters and I'll play the numbers. Okay. Old tube amps you fry a steak on. Yep. You know, I had a Vibroverb. My mother bought me a Vibroverb amplifier, which is like, man, the holy grail, right? Now, ever since Stevie Ray Vaughan, it was a weird amp. I liked it. It sounded great. Heavy, clean, unless you really played so loud you couldn't stand it. But I always regretted that I got rid of that. I traded it for an Echoplex in a moment of weakness. But later on, I realized, you know what? That amp, the transformer blew up in a club. And Mike was with me. Mike, if you're listening, remember we were playing an after hours thing in Simi Valley. And we were playing it, and my amplifier just started smoking like crazy. So that beautiful transformer that everybody says is what makes that amp was toast. I don't know. I took it somewhere and they fixed it. So now I don't feel so bad. It wasn't the original one. Okay, Autumn in New York. Check out Kenny Burrell. Absolutely. kind of just making more work for yourself. Let the bass be the bass. Amen. Yes, but if there's no bass player, you're it. There's a funny thing about accompanying somebody with just guitar. Remember, the first thing you got to tell the singer is say, I'm following you. Don't follow me. I'm following you. Sing like you're in the shower and I'll accompany you. Okay, don't wait for me to play the chord, for the bridge or whatever. Just sing. Okay, and we'll play off each other. It'll work. So, okay, that's number one, because do you always have to play the roots? No, not at all. But it is handy every once in a while. Now, if you're playing like Fly Me to the Moon, she's singing Fly Me to the Moon, or he is. So you might do something like Now, once you start in with a bass line, you're done. You're done, because that's, if you stop doing this, hear how it's missing when you stop. It's like somebody fell off the cliff. There's nothing there. So once you start playing basses, I kind of personally feel it's rough to stop. It's really rough to stop. So I would bring it in later in the song, if you know what I mean. That's my take on this. You let the pianist play the bass notes like a bass player. Well, if it's just a piano player and a guitar player and no bass, I guess so. Otherwise, once, like I said, once they start playing the bass, now, you know what? If you play with a piano player and they're playing bass, that's cool. Then when they stop playing, then you start. All right, but don't do it together. That's train wreck city. It's time for the chord corner. And what we are going to do with the chord corner is we are going to do a chord lick. This is number 10 from the series of chord licks. And licks, guitar licks, like Mike said, hey, I still remember the 5 licks, that you showed me and or something. And now you just play them, you embellish them. And, there's a little bit of truth there. I'm sure Mike's got a one repertoire of whatever he does. But you got to have something to build on. Nobody drops out of the sky and plays a beautiful line, not without having to input it all in there ahead of time. All right, so here's lick number 10. Let me show it to you. It's kind of like 2/5 of C minor. That's the 2 chord, right? But I'm setting up the 2 chord with a C sharp diminished, which is based off the A7. Okay, so I'm playing the 5 of the 2. Okay, and now I'm going. This is a G augmented 7 flat 9. It also looks like a D flat 9, right? Or an F minor 7 flat 5. And then to an A flat diminished, then a D diminished. And now you notice there really is not a G note in there. A G note. Wasn't that a $100 bill? So if I'm playing, all right, you get the idea? It's just, now if I wanted to, I could proceed this particular chord with a E diminished. In other words, this, I could interpret this maybe as some kind of a D. Yeah. Okay, so, whoop. And then, so isn't that pretty? So, a C note is $100 bill. A C note. What did I say? A G note? What is a G then? A 50? Oh, a G note is 1,000. I'd like to have a few of the G notes. Please send them in if you like this. Remember Soupy Sales? And there's a story that he got kind of kicked off the network when he said, hey, kids, I want you to go to mommy's purse and I want you to dig out the number 10. And I want you to put that in an envelope and here's where you want to send it. Okay, that concept you played on Misty seems to extend the range of the notes melodica. Melodically. Yes, you're right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like that idea. And I'll tell you what, self-discovery is probably one of the most important things you can do. Take an idea, well, like I just showed you, and run with it and write it down, by the way, so you don't forget. Are you offering any specials on lessons for the new year? Yes, we are going to on the J. I think we are. Aren't we, Gail? I think she's listening. Yes, the chord lick did resolve to C minor. So we were playing 2-5 C minor. Cool, huh? So there, that was our, and if you like that, go to Guitar 99 Cent Guitar Lessons and you can find all my chord licks. And there's an idea in there that might turn you on to a new concept that, hey, that's cool. Did that chord lick resolve to C minor? Yes. Cool. Okay. Where are we at now? Let's have another bit of, this is a wonderful wine. It's the number 3. We got it at Grocery Outlet, and it's called 3 Wine Men. And I thought, how appropriate for Christmas. For Christmas, I got a small room humidifier. Wonderful, Andrew. I run it during the day, but not at night, so humidity is always up and down. Is that worse for my guitar than not using the humidifier? Where do you live again, Andrew? You don't want too much humidity, but it's the, I don't, tell me where you live and I can probably make a more intelligent decision on that. New Jersey. So it's cold out, you're running the heater and all that, and it's kind of dry. So I would say, yeah, just keep the humidity. It's okay for it to go up and down. The guitar, it'll hold humidity for a week or two. It's like not overnight gonna fall down. So I think you're good. Make your shot. I don't use a capo. I don't recommend, especially for jazz. Yeah, a capo. Glenn Campbell used the capo, but it's probably not. Joe Pass, I don't think did. So probably you don't want to use a capo. Capo. They make so many capos now. It's crazy. This does this and it leaves this string open and that and that. And it's like, God, I got to go to school. Try to keep the T49 healthy, yes. You'll know when it falls down if it starts buzzing or if it pumps up too much and it's harder to play. So adjust accordingly. The worst thing is if it dries out for a long, long period of time. Or it gets so humidified that it turns the chrome and the gold bad color. The best exercise for moving jazz chords. Wow. I don't know. I think the best thing is to, let's say I'm doing this. This is an inversion of there's a G6, right? Let's see. There. And then here's a G6. So I would go, just try to 4 beats. Then I move to key of A or key of C around the cycle. Key of F. Key of B flat. So the idea is to transpose around the cycle of fourths. Very important because you got to be able to play that jazz chord in all the keys. Okay, remember, it's not just a C6, it's a F6, it's a G6, it's a B flat, a E flat, A flat, blah, blah, blah. Always transpose. And when you do that, you'll become much better. Please consider doing your guitar chop from your repair shop. Viewers may want to hear more about proper maintenance setup, necessary tools to perform a setup. Okay. I've got a lesson on that. It's under 99 Cent Guitar Lessons. It's not a lesson, it's a video on it. And it's just on adjusting your neck and bridge. And I could recommend you check it out. I can't really move all my stuff to the repair place. In other words, it's a pain in the ass. So no, I probably won't do that. But I got a video on that, and I'll try to bring some things in here. Matter of fact, I was going to talk about that I was thinking, well, maybe I'll talk about setting up the neck instead of doing all this stuff this time, but I can do certain parts of that. So Ralphie says that's a great lesson on that, because you should be able to adjust your guitar. You don't have to bring it into somebody. Okay. You can do this. Okay. It's a pain in the neck. Will you have some new stuff from the repair shop soon? Wes Severson. No, maybe Wes. I don't know. We'll have to brainstorm it. That's my son Wes saying that. Well, he's moving over by me, so who knows? We might be able to do some things, but I need help to do it. Okay, Lick City. Okay, we got to get moving on down the road here. This lick. Welcome to Lick City. All right, this particular lick is from the Dirty Dozen turnarounds in chords and licks. This is number 1. And again, it's available at Guitar College or 99-cent guitar lessons. And if you go over to the jazz things, jazz starters, we got a bunch of that. So I tell you, it sure is nice to have Mike on the line there. I haven't talked to him so long. I used to give Mike guitar lessons when he was a little boy. He's 62 now, and I'm 69, so I'm 7 years older than him. So what a trip. So Wes is saying, yes, we will. So yes, we'll have a lot more lessons from the repair shop. I guess I better learn how to do some things. One of the things I think that's so important, that's so overlooked, is placement of the height of the pickup. It changes everything. And you want to experiment with that. But let's take a look at a lick, okay? Here's a lick. Whoop. Whoop. No. Oh, yeah, that's cool. All right, a little different. So here we are first on, here's our chords. Remember, licks follow chords. And if you can associate licks with chords, it gives you a visual to look. So here's how the lick goes. Whoop. God darn it. Why did I do that? Oh, I see. Oh, I forgot how to do that. Sorry. Oh, it's down here. Okay, so let's get a visual on this. Look at the first lick is around this, but actually it's more like around this because I'm going. You see that? So I've got major 7, 6, 5, 9. And then I'm going to this. So, isn't that nice? Then, right up like an A flat 7. Well, I did play that different. So it's using a little more choice notes than I'm started off playing. right, so now I'm going to practice what I preach. Let's do it in key of C. So I've got this. Back to the key of G. Lick City. Pretty cool little lick, huh? I think so. Let's see, if key B flat, is B flat, then the G, then the C minor, and then to F7. Okay, so you want to make sure you're transposing those things. Okay, where are we at? Loving your music here in Boise, Idaho. What are your thoughts on using percussive in jazz guitar? What do you mean, doing this? I don't know. I don't have any thoughts on that. Boise, Idaho, the cleanest air in the world. When we went up to Boise, I couldn't believe, man, the air is so fresh and clean there. How nice. Okay. Let's play something. Don't you think it's time for crying out loud? Jeez. So how about this song? What Are You Doing New Year's? Remember that song? It's kind of a funny tune, man, but I like it. It's one of those songs that I'm not really all that familiar with, but you dig it out once a year and there it is, right? Oops. Hold on, Jackson. I got to get my music. Let's go over here so you can see what's going on. Here we go. All right, so yeah, it's kind of a cool little song. Nice West octaves. Thank you, sir. Oh, and you will. Yes, I will have a good New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, a lot of times it's not that much fun. Because there's so much anticipation. Like, you gotta have fun. I gotta have fun. Or you're in the band and you're at a club and it's like, we all have to have fun. But most of the time you do have fun. I've had a lot of fun New Year's Eves. Frank Losser also did Luck Be a Lady along with many others. Thank you, Ralphie, for that information. Do I still play Beyond the Sea? I do. Would you like to hear it? Okay, let me get little bit of gas here. I think I can still play it. What key? Oh, here we go. Wait a minute. Hold on, everything. Which key B? Sorry. I don't play that anymore. Let me do it again. You know, sometimes you forget that, not you, I mean me. I forget I'm not a jukebox, you know. Sometimes you think, yeah, I know that. I've played it 10 billion times. You always have to do a little refresher. There's no doubt about it. As a matter of fact, I do have a system for refreshing your list, and that is to have 6 songs that you play 2 times back to back in the morning, back to back at night. In other words, I play Beyond the Sea twice in a row in the morning, and I play it twice at night. And I do that with 6 songs. The next day, I do it with another 6. Next day, another 6. Next day, another 6. That's 24 tunes. If I want to go 5, I could. 24, that'd be hike 30. So you got 30 tunes and you're fresh with them, you know. So you actually are playing them just 4 times in a week, you know. So that's much better than playing it once every 2 months. So, you know, it's remember on Ed Sullivan, the guy with the plates and the sticks, you know, spinning the sticks, this one falls apart. You got to go over here and you got to do that and that. Same kind of deal. You know, Stan, I have a lot of new material coming up. I just haven't done it yet. I've started on several things. So yes, I am going to start putting out some new material. Where are we at now? Thank you, guys. Very nice. Dan Stewart from Pleasanton. Do you know Karen Margath over there? Do you know her? Jazz singer? Real good. She sang my Christmas Around the World song. Sounds like a whole horn section. Okay. Well, you guys, it's probably about time. Unless you guys got something really pressing that you want to do. George, it's not in the course, but there's a fantastic lesson on it. That's Gail that said that. Thank you, honey. So are you enjoying these chats? I do. It seems like we're next week we're going to start with my son Wes is going to help us get this down a little better. Remember, the more you drink, the better I sound. So drink up because the end is near. Let's see. What should we end with? You know, I when I was looking around at tunes, I thought, you know, I don't know, maybe I haven't done this in a while, but it's really bright. In other words, it's a fast tempo, and I like to kind of end with something up. Although we could do something down. I don't know. Actually, I just saw this tune, West Side of Heaven. Do you want something up or down? Medium? What do you want? I don't think I have chops to do something up right now. Whoa. Oh, wait a minute. So, Brad, you finally showed up, for crying out loud, Brad. Jeez. That's called West Side of Heaven. Let's see, where are we at? Okay, somebody wants something up. Oh, Bill Court. Bill Court said play something up. Well, let me see if I'm capable of doing that. You know, I've been playing all this fingerstyle stuff. I forgot how to use a pick. Let's see, how about this tune? You know the tune Alone for Together? Ooh, let's see the tip. That's slow. Let's try this one. Okay. Holy cow. Is that really loud? Jeez. Breathe, Rich, breathe. Okay, well, thank you, you guys. Does Gail play music with me? We make beautiful music together, but she doesn't play an instrument. So anyway, hey, thank you very much. And hope you have a wonderful, wonderful new year. Oops, I put this down. I got to play our theme song. And you have a wonderful new year and everything's hunky-dory and you make a lot of progress. And we're going to talk about some New Year goals for next year and making some progress, okay? I will talk to you later.